Viewers across the globe. So today we are going to learn how we can profit from floating loss. Those trading using RoyalQ, in case you pick a trade and the market goes against you, what are you supposed to do? How can you benefit, or how can you profit even even when you are in floating loss? My name is Fred Ntambise Sanga, and viewers across the globe, good morning and win today. So as we can all see, I'm trading Cortex CTXC and the coin is in -20. So the second trade that I'm trading is Gala, and I'm seriously floating on Gala. So I'm not here to discuss what is floating loss. This video is for those people already in the business. You know what floating loss is, but floating loss to me is not a big deal. Floating loss to me, if you are new and you are listening to this video, you don't need to get worried about floating loss. So how can someone profit when you are in floating loss? So as we can all see, Cortex, so far the robot has bought 8 margin calls. 8 margin calls. So this is my average price and this is the current price of this cryptocurrency. So I'm trading one shot. As we can all see, I'm trading this coin on one shot. So for you to make profit even when you are in floating loss, make sure that the strategy mode that you are using, it is the sub-bin mode real-time settlement. The sub-bin mode real-time settlement, I'm talking about this. The sub-bin mode real-time settlement if you want to make profit even when you are in floating loss. So I'm going to press sure. So this is where you get the strategy mode from. So I'm going to tap here. We want to know, am I really making some money on this coin? Fine, I'm floating on this coin, but the question is, am I making some good money on this coin? So let's tap here. So where you are seeing red, it is a sub sale. So remember, when it comes to the strategy modes of RoyalQ, from the first call to the fourth call, those are sold as a wall. They are sold at once. The robot sells them at once. Then from the fifth call up to infinity, remember, you can set as many margin calls as possible. If you have capital and you are good at capital management, you can even set 999 margin calls. That is the beauty about the RoyalQ robot. Now, here where you are seeing sub sale, I'm making profit on this coin. Sub sale, the robot buys and sells. The robot buys and sells. So always trade in the sub-bin mode real-time settlement. So let's go to my trade settings. Like I said, I'm not here to explain what floating loss is. So let's go to trade settings. We see I show you the trade settings that I'm using. So my margin call limit is 65 margin calls. You must be good at capital management. So my margin call limit is 65 margin calls. So let's go to margin configuration. We see my my settings. So my focus is on the fifth call up to the 65 margin call. So these are my trade settings. Whenever the market drops by 1.5 from the fifth call going down, whenever the market drops by 1.5, the robot buys one time using my first buying amount, which is $5. So my first buying amount is $5, and whenever the market drops by 1.5, the robot buys one time using $5, which means 5 times 1 to make $5. So that is it. That is done. All margin calls, the call drop is 1.5 and the multiple buying ratio is 1 time. So that is understood. That is now understood. So let's go to our distribution and take profit allocation. Distribution and take profit allocation. So what is my take profit? Whenever the market drops by 1.5 and it rises by 2%, my robot will be selling. So my take profit percentage, when it comes to the sub sales, it is 2%. I hope that is also clear. I just want to show you how you can make money even when you are in floating loss. Even when you are in floating loss, the take profit is 2%. I think that is now clear to everyone. That is now clear to everyone. So like I said, my first buying amount is $5. Yes, take a call. Neno nga tekuli masanyalaze. Sorry guys, you know I'm working from home. I'm working from home. So my first buying amount is $5. So that is now done. So let's go to Gala. Even on Gala, it's the same thing. On Gala, so far the robot has bought 17 margin calls, and still I'm trading one shot on Gala, and I'm trading in the sub-bin mod real-time settlement. I'm trading in the sub-bin mod real-time settlement. So my first buying amount is $5, and the margin call drop is also 1.5 on each margin call when it comes to the sub sales. When it comes to the sub sales, the margin call limit is 65 times. I want the robot, if the market drops by 65, I want the robot to keep buying. So when we go to trade settings, the margin configuration, it is the same thing. Whenever the market drops by 1.5, my robot buys one time. It is the same thing. Putting $5. Even when it comes to the distribution and take profit allocation, my take profit percentage is 2%. So that is now clear. That is now clear. So now let's go this side. So to revenue details. So we are seeing, so when it comes to revenue details, so we can see I'm floating, but I'm making profit every single day. There is no day that goes by and I don't make a profit. So we can see Gala sold, Cortex sold. As you see on your screen, Gala, Cortex, I'm making money on these cryptocurrencies. I'm floating on these coins, but I'm making money as I'm waiting for the robot or for the market to rise. Then the robot sells everything that I have in stock. So even here it is the same thing. Gala sold, then Cortex. You see, I'm making small profit, but at the end of that day, the money that I make in a day, it is something that is good. It is good. It is good money. So far to have made $1.6. Then yesterday it was 775. You see, you just need to understand the business. You just need to understand the business, how the business works. So let's go here on the notification bell, order message. You see the robot is buying. There is a new buy, there is a new buy, there is a new sale. Guys, are you seeing? You just need to understand the business. I'm in floating loss, but I'm not bothered because I'm making money. Capital management is key. Capital management is key. Yes, the market is not good, but what is the way forward? Did you understand the business? There is a new sale, there is a new sale, a new buy, a new sale. Are you seeing, guys? You just need to understand the business. You just need to understand the business. So let's go back to strategy. What else do I want to talk about? What else do I want to talk about? So, like I said, let me tap on Gala. So, my margin call limit is 65. So meaning my call drop, my total call drop. Let's go to a calculator. Let's go to the calculator. So my call drop, the normal calculator that you have on your device. So we are going to say 65 margin calls. Now we are going to remove the first 4 margin calls to make 61. Guys, are you following? Are you following? So my margin call limit is 65. We are removing the first 4 margin calls that the robot sells as a wall, and we remain with 61. With 61 margin calls. Now 61 margin calls times our drop on each margin call, which is 1.5. Meaning if the market drops by 91.5%, I'm still safe. I'm still safe. I will keep on making profit. Even if the market drops by 100%, I'm still safe. Guys, are you seeing? So that is my total drop percentage. Let's go back to RoyalQ. There is something that I want to enlighten you when it comes to trade settings. When it comes to trade settings, let's tap on Cortex. We go on trade settings. Then we go to margin configuration. So when it comes to the first 4 margin calls, for me, I don't use small call drops. Simanya 0.51% when it comes to the first 4 margin calls. Because floating loss in the business is a must. We cannot avoid floating loss, but we can control floating loss. So when it comes to the first 4 margin calls, I don't use small call drops. So I use the radical. This is the default setting of RoyalQ. This is the default setting of RoyalQ. I start with when the market drops by 3.5, that is when my robot will buy the first call. When the market drops again by 4%, let my robot buy the second call. When the market drops by 4%, let my robot buy the third call. And when the market drops by 4%, let my robot buy the fourth call using the double up method. So I don't need to go deep into this. So that is it. The business is simple. You don't need to stress yourself. I'm in floating loss, I'm not making money. Trade in the sub-bid mode real-time settlement and manage your capital. Floating loss is not a big deal, guys. It's not a big deal. Floating loss is not a big deal. So if I add the 91.5% plus this one, if I calculate the first call, second call, third call and the fourth call, if I'm not mistaken, it gives a 15%. It gives a 15%. This is not part of our calculation. It gives a 15%. Then 1 plus 5, that is 6. 9 plus 1, which is a 10. So my call drop is 106%. That means even if the market drops by 100%, I'm still safe, guys. Capital management is key. Learn how to manage your capital. You will always enjoy the business. So that is it. Simple. You don't need to get stressed because you are in floating loss. Set many the magic of the business is in margin calls. The magic of the business is in margin calls, guys. So that is my sharing for today. That is my sharing for today.